It's Dr. Ruben West. Welcome to another edition of Voices of Change, where we bring voices of change from around the world. People who not only create change in their own lives, but specialize in creating change in the lives of others. Today, like I always say, I have an amazing guest for you. I'm going to be bringing him on here in just a little while. His name is Dr. Phinehas Kinuthia. Phinehas Kinuthia, let me tell you, he's done some amazing things, but today we're going to get into his story. And what I promise you, listen to this, what I promise you is his story is going to be impactful. Here's a man that went through a lot of hardships at a young age. Imagine this. I'm going to set the stage and I'm going to bring him right in. But imagine being a teenager, 14 years old. Imagine getting some sicknesses, some illnesses. Imagine taking the medicine and listen to what they say. Be careful when you take medicine because they may have what? Side effects. But you know what? So many times we take the medicine and we don't think about the what? Side effect. And the reason that we don't think about the side effect is because we need the medicine. And he did exactly what the doctor said. He took the medicine, but unfortunately, he got the side effects. And he was paralyzed. Listen to this. Paralyzed, left side of his body, paralyzed in his home, 14 years old. He couldn't get out of bed. He couldn't get out of bed. Now you're probably asking yourself, Ruben, what happened to him? What was it like to go through that? What did his family and friends say? How did he cope? What did he think? What did he say to God? Guess what? We're going to get all of those answers and more right here on this show. I'm about to bring to the show in about 10 seconds, Dr. Phinehas Kinuthia. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to get your paper out, your pencil out, your iPad, your notepad. I have all of mine ready because you're going to want to take notes. Remember this, the hand is a digital recorder for the mind. The hand is a digital recorder for the mind. Get ready. I'm bringing to the stage right now. Here he is, Dr. Phinehas Kinuthia. Welcome, sir.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Ruben West. Good to be here with you. I'm excited and looking forward to tonight. We're going to have an amazing time.
Indeed, we are. And let me tell everyone listening, I'm not coming for the surface. I'm going deep. I already told them, I said, look, I may cut you off. I may interrupt. I'm going deep. I'm here to go deep.
Yes, sir.
She said it's 12 a.m. here. Work the wait. Great show. Great host. Great guest. And guess what? You're great. Thank you for being here with us. Dr. Kinuthia, I want to get right to it. You told me earlier today that when you were younger, you got some illnesses. Tell us what those illnesses were.
Okay, so first of all, thank you again for having me on the show, Voices of Change, because you're doing an amazing work highlighting people whose influence might be ignored. But so I really thank you for that. Before I tell that story, I want to go back and bring it to context,
Sure.
So I was born in Africa, in Kenya, and I was born premature. I was 2.86 pounds. Yeah. And I was born with chronic bronchitis and asthma. So throughout my childhood, I struggled a lot with getting sick with asthma. So my lungs did not get to fully develop. So at the age of 14, and again, just to give context, I grew up in a family of five. Basically, we were five, and we lived off of less than $2 a day, if you can imagine.
Wait.
Yes, sir.
I got to ask that. You said a family of five, and you lived off of what?
Less than $2 a day.
Now, I need somebody to hear this right now, because so many times we think we're going through it. So many times we think we've hit rock bottom. But you just said a family of five, and you lived off of less than $2 a day.
Less than $2 a day, and it was really hard because again, like most kids, when you're growing up, you're trying to have all the resources. You won't be able to have a chance like everybody. But my mom was a special ed teacher, and my dad was a cab driver, and we couldn't afford much. And so at age 14, I started feeling bad. I'm grasping for breath. I don't know what to do, and I feel dizzy, like I'm gonna fall out. So they try, my mom was home, so we walked to the hospital about 2 miles away, almost two kilometers, which is about 4 miles.
Wait. Because we can't run past this. You're saying that you were so dizzy that
Yeah.
you would almost fall out. You would almost
Yes.
pass out because you couldn't get
Yes.
air in. You had this bronchitis. You were born with these conditions. Now you have these illnesses. And did you say you walked to the?
Yes, we had. Yes, we had to walk to the hospital because here's the thing. My dad, being that he was a cab driver, he would leave early in the morning and come late at night. And so during that time, my mom had to be the primary caretaker because again, he was out there trying to make a living. And so when I fell sick, the challenge was I actually didn't know, but I was diagnosed with three major illnesses. That's typhoid, which
Yeah,
is a water disease.
right.
Now, typhoid, typhoid does, it attacks your system. And that's why I was feeling like it's like malaria, the way it attacks the system, and you feel like a flu, like you're losing your faculty. So that's what was going on. And then in the meantime, so I got typhoid, malaria, and then I had an asthma attack.
Wow.
So I get to this clinic. It's called it was called a dispensary. It's not really a hospital. It's
I
like we
know.
gonna help you until you
Yes,
can
yes, yes. It's coming to get the resources that you need, but you're not going
yeah.
to a major medical center. So if you're listening right now and you're in the U.S. and you're thinking he's walking into Brooke Army Medical Center or one of those, that's not what it's going to. It's not going to.
No, it's like
It's a
yeah.
dispensary.
It's
Yeah.
a they call it a dispensary. So I walk in there and the doctor is like, okay, we need to do something because you are definitely not doing well. So they treat me. And in the process of the protocol for treatment, I get, they didn't know what to treat first because you have typhoid, you have malaria, you have asthma. So let's first contain the situation. And so because of the protocol, the medication conflicted. And when it did conflict, what happened is there was a side effect. And then suddenly I couldn't feel my entire left side, starting from the top of my head to my feet. So I couldn't walk. I keep telling my mom, I can't feel myself. I can't feel my side. And she's like, what do you mean? Until we discovered that literally I had no sense of feeling on my left side.
Could you move your left side?
No, I
Because
couldn't.
not only did you not have sense of feeling, because it wasn't
Yeah.
that it was just numb. It's like you had no control. You could not move your
No,
left.
I had no control. Yeah. So what she did, the doctor said, well, it might wear out. We're gonna allow you to just go home, and then after 3 days, you can come back for a checkup. Now,
No. You're saying it happened while you were at the dispensary?
Yes,
So,
yes,
so
it
it
happened.
was sudden. It came on suddenly.
It came on suddenly. Yes, it came on suddenly. Here I am at 14. I was actually getting ready for some of the, it's like taking a SAT test here. And I'm getting ready. I was in school. I start feeling bad. I go back home. We go to the clinic and then I can't walk. So that's why it was so devastating because I walked to the hospital. Now I can't go home. And I remember my mom carrying me on her back. I'll never forget. Now, my mom is not.
No. Hold on. You're saying
Yes, sir.
that at the dispensary, you lost
Yes.
control of your left side. You can no longer walk. You can no longer move. About 4 miles. And did you just say your mother carried you at 14 years old
Carried me
on her back all the way
on her
home?
back. Yes, and you got to understand that she's not a tall, strong woman. My mom is about 5'2", and she is at most maybe 160, 70 pounds. And so she carries me. And I remember she had to keep carrying me and stopping, and she had to do like, just hold my hands and try to. And I get to this point and I'm crying and I'm devastated and we are walking home and I'm feeling like this is the end of my life.
Mm.
And so we get home and she understands how, any parent knows that this is a traumatic experience for their child.
Yeah.
And we get home and the first thing she does, she tells me, she puts me in a room on the bed and she closes the door and she's like, I want us to pray.
Yeah.
I wanted to pray. My mom was a believer. She was the only person that was a believer in our house. And she said, I want us to pray. And I told Mom, I'm tired of this. I am really tired of this. And you know, just talking about it, it brings me back to that place because I was so helpless.
Mm.
And you can imagine being dragged every, you know, stopping every other minute, and she's doing her best. She gets me home and then puts me on the bed, and we prayed a prayer, Dr. Rubin. We prayed that that was the beginning of the end of my sickly childhood.
Mm.
I
Wow.
mean, something, because I would have these flares up and down depending on how the weather is. I would have these flares and I would have asthma attacks. Now, here, most kids carry around inhaler. You can't afford an inhaler back at that time, you
Right,
know.
right. $2 a day, you're not getting an inhaler.
No, you're not getting an inhaler. So, you know, I'm just going to share something, and it's very personal. So, one of the ways I would treat that, which is something that even until today is being like my way of, you know, like I don't deal with it anymore. But here's what happened. I would boil the water and boil it extensively, and then I would get a blanket and I would cover myself and inhale the hot, humid air.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
that would unlock the clogs.
Yeah, Dr. Phineas, let me ask you, because I'm just
Yes,
being
sir.
practical, and there's somebody listening right now, and they
Yes,
feel like they've been through it, and they've been going through it, and they may be going through it right now.
yeah,
And I know that I've had some challenges in my life, and I've been put in situations, excuse me, where I was certainly worried and scared.
yes,
I want to ask you something, and I don't want you to think about it. I just want you to answer it and tell the truth.
yeah,
Not that you're not
yeah.
going to, but just say it. Did you try and bargain with God?
I absolutely.
Because a lot of times when we get in those situations, and if you're listening, you've probably been in those situations where you're like, okay, God, if you would just get me out of this, did you do that?
Absolutely. In fact, we prayed one of the prayers that my mom prayed, and I remember I told my mom, I want, like, you know, and you got to understand my story because I wasn't supposed to be born. In fact, when I was about to be born, they gave my mom an option. They say you either have this preemie child
Yeah.
and die, or you can have this child, but you might lose your life.
Wow.
So it doesn't start here. So we had gone through so many of these challenges. So at that time, at the time of birth, what my mom said, she told my dad, and I wasn't there, but she told me that she told my dad, I had an elder sister, and she said, you know what, if I die, I'm gonna have this child, but if I die, you go ahead and take care of of both of them. So she was willing to sacrifice her life for us, and that's so she prayed one prayer. She said, God, if you let me have this son, because she had a daughter, and she like, if you let me have this son, I want to dedicate him to you. And that's what people don't understand. Sometimes people think that my passion for ministry started when I got into serving, you know, but it started back then. I mean, she committed me. She said, I'm gonna commit this child to God. And so that's how, and I was born. And when I was born, they didn't, at 2.86 pounds, they couldn't put clothes on me. They had to wrap me with a towel because I couldn't put on any clothes. I mean, think about it. And it's not like here you stay in an incubator, you know,
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
hold you as long as they can. And then they're like, look, mama, you got to take your child, you know? And so that's why, to me, it's a testimony. It's a test that I've been through. So at this time, at this juncture, we had gone through so much, and I was like, I'm tired and I'm done. And that's when we say that prayer. And yes, I did bargain with God, and I said, God, if you help me go through this, and I tell you what, He's faithful, because that was the beginning of from that season onwards. I mean, it transitioned. I never had those major uh, breakdowns that I used to have, or attacks that I would used to have.
And why do you think that is?
Well, one is I think at some point you have to draw from your faith. You got to get to a point where you draw line in the sand. The enemy will mess with you until you take a stand against any adversity, against what he's doing. But when you do finally take a stand, and when you stand in faith and believe totally, see, it's one thing to hope and expect. That's not faith. Faith is total confidence, it's total belief. So when we got to that point and we were tired, and there's somebody listening right now, they're going through a lot of hardships and they've just been making by. And they've not gotten to that point where they're saying, you know what? I've had it, enough is enough, and no more of this. There comes a time you have to choose. You have to decide, this is it. I'm not going to be in this position. And we did. And we chose, and when we stood on that word, and I changed my confession, I started speaking differently. I started saying what I'm manifesting. That's another thing that I realized. When I would feel bad, I wouldn't say, oh, I'm feeling bad, or I'm going through my asthma. You know, people used to say, how's your asthma? And I refused to own it. I stopped saying my asthma, my bronchitis. I started saying, I'm healed. Because when we take ownership of this situation, my depression, this is just who I am, it becomes a part of you. It gives you the legal right for that thing to exist in your life. So I had to reject it, but also begin to speak in alignment with the expectation. Here's what I've realized, Dr. West. You have to hold on to what you believe long enough until your reality conforms to your belief system.
So you say you gotta hold the belief long enough to let your reality catch up. Because so many times we have the belief, but we release the belief before the reality could catch up.
Right. And that's the walk of faith. The walk of faith is really navigating through that until you get to a point where your circumstances begin to conform to your belief system. But a lot of people compromise their faith because they feed their doubt and starve their faith. You got to keep feeding your faith until the time it becomes stronger than your doubts. It does not mean that I did not have episodes. It does not mean that I did not have moments of giving up, but I kept on speaking the expectation. You see, you have to speak the expectation. Faith calls those things that are not as though they are. That's how God calls those things. So I'm not doing anything that God's not doing. I'm speaking what. So let's say somebody is in poverty right now, struggling and going through a lot. I've been there. I have learned that a lot of times we sabotage ourselves by what we are saying. So out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So we might be speaking, and we are speaking doubt and unbelief. And so it sabotages what we are believing. It says a double-minded man is unstable, and let not that man believe he will receive anything. So I cannot have one thought in my mind and speak one thing in my mouth. The words in my mind, the thoughts in my mind and the words in my mouth have got to conform to the expectation, even if it has not manifested. Because what happens if we stop confessing, and if we could stop speaking the outcome we want to see happen, then what happens is we starve our faith and feed our doubt. And when anytime doubt takes over, there's no way you can manifest, because now you're double-minded. And so that person cannot receive anything. So I had to get to a point where I changed my speaking. I started confessing, and it was hard because as a kid, you want to see results. You want to see the tangible result. But no, I had to get to this point. I said, now I'm going to speak it until it becomes my reality. And I'm telling somebody right now in the Voices of Change show, I'm telling you, you have to. And the other thing is, a lot of times we say things because we want, see, faith is not hope for expectation. Faith is the confident assurance in a belief that if God said it, that is it. It's settled. Whether you believe it or not, it's settled. If God said you are healed, you are healed. And that's what you have to believe, and that's what you have to receive. Whether the circumstances say otherwise, you have to believe that you are healed. And so I started speaking, I'm healed. I'm walking, I'm in divine health. I had to get to this point, and the longer I spoke it, the more I believed it. And the more I believed it, the more it manifested. And I tell you what, I cannot recall the last time since around that season where I had an episode that I had to go to the hospital.
Wow. Wow. Man, this is so powerful. Hey, you guys, listen, this is where I'm going to come to you and say, hey, share this
Yeah,
video. You're not sharing it for me. You're sharing it for the people who need to hear that they
yes,
got to speak it until they see it. You're sharing it
yeah,
for the people who need to hear that they have to have a level of faith that is beyond logic. Roland Manning
right.
said, he said something powerful. He said, your tongue and your mouth must be going in the same direction as the tongue in your shoe. That so many people talk one thing and go in another
And
direction.
walk another.
That's
Yep,
good.
that's
Come
right.
on,
Good
Roland
job,
Manning.
bro.
Do me a
Manny.
favor and
Yeah.
share this video. And when you share it, put down, you must listen. Just put down, you must listen. Listen, hopefully you guys are taking notes. We
Hmm.
have so many comments. Tracy Ward said, you cannot have one thought in your mind and another thought in your mouth. So much. Uh, Veronica Keybird said, speak until it becomes a reality. Gene
Hmm.
Casiano said, yes, victories become real. I mean, people are
Yes.
really taking hold of what you're saying. Christy
Hmm.
even said, a great conversation. This is
Yeah.
real. I mean, that's why I told you that this was going to be a great show, but I got to
Yeah.
take you back.
Yeah.
I got to take you back.
Please do. Yes.
You said you made a bargain. You said I was
Yes.
willing to make a bargain. And one of the
Yes.
things I know about a bargain is there's always two sides to the bargain. What you
Right.
said to God is, God, I want to be healed. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what did you say in return? If you heal me, then what? What was the other side of the bargain?
Well, already there was another bargain that I had to live up to. One was the one that my mom, that the first one was the one that my mom prayed. Well, she had me, and she made that prayer and say, I turn him on." Now, the my name has this. The meaning, the behind, not like a definition, but the meaning behind it is an oracle. An
Mm,
oracle, an oracle being the speaker that speaks and declares the things of God. So it's like I got to this point, and that has had to become my reality. So while we were at this place, I gave my life to Christ at the age of 7. I got baptized at 9. So at that particular time, I had at least an understanding of where I was in my walk with God. And so, of course, there's been a relentless passion to continue to serve. But one of the things that I came to learn at that particular time, while I was in the bed, my sister brought me a message. It was called Purpose by Design.
mm,
It was by Dr. Miles Monroe,
yeah.
and he's a good friend that went to be with the Lord. That was my mentor, and I listened to this message, and it was, no matter what your background is, we all have a purpose. And he related his story, his background. They were 12 of them living in a 2-room house, and it captured my attention. I said, wait. He's going through the same things I'm going through, but he's out here doing something, and he's in a third world country in Bahamas. And I was like, no, there's got to be also something in me. So that set in motion something that began to cause me to go after my purpose. And so one of the things that I committed to at that particular time is that I'm going to know my purpose. And once I know my purpose, I'm going to help other people discover what it is, because trauma has a way to get you to actually reevaluate your life. And if you've never gone through a trauma, I'm just praying that you don't come out of the other side of this crisis that we are in, because this is a crisis, and there are people who've lost their loved one. There's trauma going on right now. But what's happening is, my prayer is that when we come out of it with a sense of purpose and direction, with a sense of meaning, with a sense of, I'm going to take this next step. So what I did is I said, I'm going to make it my mission to help people, one, discover their purpose, because I felt so insignificant. Dr. West, I grew up as a sickly child, so I was insecure. I had a lot. I couldn't play. I couldn't do. We were poor. I didn't have anything working for me that I could
Yeah.
show off or be out in the field catching the ball. I couldn't run for nothing
Right.
because you know. But then what happens is, I said, I know I have a purpose. and I want to discover their purpose, and I want to make it my mission to help others discover their purpose. And that's been my mission all through.
I've got to say this. I was going to save this for later till we got close to the end. Um, now you do quite a lot now. I'm going to bring us back to this, but you do quite a lot now because I want people to get a chance to know what you do now. So,
Right.
in spite of what you went through now, then what is it that you do now? I know you help people discover their purpose. What else do you do?
Right. Okay, so well, I do I do quite a few things, but the things that are major for me. One is I have a threefold mission. One, I want to help people discover their purpose. Two, maximize their potential, and three, actualize their dreams. So I wrote a book called From Dreaming to Becoming 10 Essential Steps for Living the Life of Your Dreams. And this is me walking with people to realize their dreams. I just got awarded by the World Civility the Dream Actualization Icon Award of the Year, and I'm humbled by that.
Now, wait a
But
minute.
basically,
You can't run past that. The World Civility Organization Dream Actualizer of the Year. In other words,
yes,
you are known
yes,
for helping people manifest their dreams. You're
their
known
dreams.
for helping people discover their purpose. That's not just something you came up with, but now it's something you're known for, correct?
Yes, yes.
I love it.
Very passionate to do because I was that kid, couldn't believe in myself, coming from poverty. And, I told you my story and couldn't believe that anything good can come out of, myself until I began to understand who I am, my identity, and began to understand that my dreams can be valid. I came to the US, as I was pursuing my passion and my dream for fulfilling my purpose. I came to the US with $200 and a one-way ticket, didn't know anybody. First time on a plane anywhere, first time out of the country, and I land to this place and I don't know anybody, and I was homeless for at least 3 months, and this was in winter time. Now let me tell you, Dr. West, I came 2 weeks before 9/11.
Wow.
So, so everything changed after that. And so here I am. I'm thinking I'm going to the America. I'm going to make something of myself. My parents do the best they can. They put me on a plane. I don't know anybody. I'm just leaping out in faith. I get to this place. I land in Virginia. The school was in Virginia. And I land in this school. And the goal is I'm going to work and somehow I'm going to pay my school. But hey, I got $200. I can start with that. And that's literally how I came. I came to the U.S.
$200 in your pocket.
$100.
I know you were living off $2 a day there in Africa, but $200 doesn't necessarily
It's not
take
much.
you a long way in the U.S. You was thinking that $200 was probably going to get you a little bit more than what it got,
Yeah.
weren't you?
I found out the hard way that was. So,
You got out the hard way.
I found out the hard way. And the thing is, and I want to tell somebody, sometimes we go through stuff and we take it out on our parents and we feel like they owe us something. And if your parents have ever done anything to give you an upper hand and they did the best they could, celebrate what they could. Because like my parents had to sell the only piece of property they had, a small land, almost less a plot. It was about 50 by 100 meters, and they sold it, and that's how I got my air ticket. And then they gave me this $200 and they're like, look, just go make the best of yourself. And yes, I had moments when I was depressed. I had moments when I'm sitting out in the library outside the school and kind of just buying time until everybody goes to sleep so I can find a place to stay and watch this. I had to save this $200 because I didn't know when I was gonna really need it. So I survived off of coffee and crackers, And I remember talking to one of the professors was like, look, I've noticed you are always around. Do you not have a place you're staying? And I had to come clean, and I said yes. And he said, I'll rent you my basement, but you have to pay $250 a month. I was like, I don't have that money. I said, the only money I have is $200. He said, I'll let you pay $150 for a couple of months, and then you'll have to pay me full price. And that's how I got a place to stay. And then fortunately for me, I got a job at the school cafeteria, and I would get food and I would pack food and
I
I'll
know you
take food.
did.
Yes, I would.
I know you did. You like, I'm gonna serve a little this. I'm gonna put a little aside. I'm gonna serve a little. I'm gonna put a little aside. This is gonna be breakfast in the morning. I know
Yeah,
you did.
exactly. So you understand how that works.
Yeah, I understand reality. I understand reality. See, in reality, there's things we think we want to do, but in reality, there's things we have to do. And one of the
Yeah,
things we have to do is we have to conserve food when we can. I mean, we got
yeah.
to we got to make sure we have. Listen, I want to show this right now. You're hearing Dr. Phinehas Kinuthia, and one of the things that he said that it is his passion, it is his calling, and that is to help people discover their purpose. I was going to save this till the end of the show, but I'm going to show this right now. As a matter of
Yes.
fact, he's doing a program right now. What is it?
Mhm.
10 days to discover your
10
purpose.
days to purpose. Yeah.
10
The
days
10
to
days
purpose.
purpose challenge.
And this program is a program he usually does for $9.97. He usually does
Yes.
the program for $9.97. And watch this, people pay it. I mean,
Yeah.
the young kid laying in the bed that couldn't move back home, he's not that young man no more. He's taking
No.
that determination, that drive, that commitment, and now he's not Phineas, he's Dr. Kinuthia. And what he
Yes.
does is he literally helps people discover their purpose. And so he has this
Yes.
program called 10 Days to Purpose. Hold on, I'm going to show you this right now. 10 Days
Yes.
to Purpose, and it starts July 28th to August 6th. Now listen to this. He's agreed, and not just for me or the people on my show, but he's agreed to do this person for, watch this, I want you to listen to this, $1 a day.
Mm-hmm.
$1 a day.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that when you grow up without, you
Yeah.
recognize that there may be people in need, but they're still
Right.
without. So there may
Right.
be people who would love to discover their purpose, love to go through his program, but they can't afford the $9.97. You watch this.
Yeah.
You've been blessed. How were you
Yeah.
blessed? You were blessed because he had to go through all that. You were
Right.
blessed because he came to the U.S. with $200 in his pocket and had to survive on coffee and crackers. And so he
Mhm.
knows what it's like to not have the money. So what he
Yeah.
said is, I'm going to do this program for $1 a day. And
Yep.
here's how you take advantage of the program. It's www.10daystopurpose, 10daystopurpose.com, www.10daystopurpose.com. Now, I don't want you to go there now. Don't click off my show. I'm just leaving it up here so you can write it down. I told you
Write it down.
the recorder for the mind. Don't click
Yeah.
off my show. Just write it down. I just want you to know. We'll put it back up at the end, but if anybody has to go, I want you to know
Yeah.
what we offered. And I think that this is going to be money well spent. Let me help
Right.
you out. It's not whether the program is worth it, it's whether your purpose is worth it, and it is worth
Yeah.
$10. I'm going to take
Yes.
that down. Dr. Kinuthia, let's get back into it. Listen,
Mhm.
did you have to go back to the hospital? Like, you're laying there in the bed, you can't move your left side, you're paralyzed on the left side, you have no feeling. Did you have to go back to the hospital? You just laid there? Like, what happened?
Okay, so that's a good question, because you crawl out of stuff, and when you crawl out of stuff, sometimes you forget, like how traumatic it was. But yes, something happened during that time. After I listened to that message, we were praying, and I listened to that message, and what I found out is that medication, after a while, it stopped affecting me. So I had to regain my members, because for about 2 days or 3 days, I couldn't walk, and then just crawled out of that. And so when I crawled out of that, that's when I started pursuing all this, and I would like to say that I jumped out of the bed and I got back. No, that's not what happened. There was ups and down for 16 years. I went through this trial and error path where I was trying, not knowing what I'm doing. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Dr. West, when I went to college, let me just show you exactly how passionate this thing is to me. I didn't know. I knew I had a purpose, but I wasn't clear because there was no precise step-by-step sequence of knowing this is your purpose, discover it, go do it. So
Right.
I was doing trial and error. And here's what I tell people: you can grow your life geometrically through experiences and mistakes, or you can grow it exponentially through relationships and mentorship.
Mm.
Now, I won't say that again because I would be remiss if I would not think of the people that helped me when I was stuck in different places. I can, in every moment when I was stuck, I can go to a place where I can find somebody, a relationship that was there that helped me take the next step. I'm telling you, right now, you're a bridge right now. You see what I'm doing? I'm passionate about it. But God has supernaturally connected us because there's something that you bring to the assignment that I've been given. There's something I bring to the assignment that you've been given.
Ain't that
And
the
what I have a problem with, what I'm noticing right now with this generation is that we gravitate towards the popular and miss the significant.
Oh,
So
come on now, wait a minute. You keep running past this. I've got to hear you say that again. I've got to use that on my next call. Say that
yes,
again.
we gravitate. So we'll find the who's who. And a lot of times people are like, that's my mentor, that's my coach. And they don't have your number, they don't know you, you don't have access to them, and you trying to say that's your mentor. You can learn. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been trained by people, I've studied them. But if you're going to have somebody that walks the walk with you, you see, there's a difference between a coach and a mentor, you know. And the thing is, I see myself as this person. God has given a mandate to walk with people to actualize things. So it's not enough to have a concept if you cannot materialize it. And so I want to walk with people to actualize the things. So what I was saying is, we have people who are looking for what's popular because they're looking for people who's trending and people who have, and they're missing the significant that is essential towards where they need to go. And that's a problem because now we are so caught up with the social clout that we are missing. And that's why I tell people sometimes it's not just about popularity. Sometimes you got to catch wisdom. See, there's a people cannot catch wisdom when they're so caught up with trying to catch what's happening and what's trending. They need to catch a wisdom, and wisdom is seasoned in experience. There are things, Dr. West, that you can teach me that I don't know, and I have to be teachable and open to receiving from you. Because if I'm not teachable and open, all I know is all there is to. That's all I'll ever be. And so I'm always telling people, like right now with the challenge, I don't have to do this $10 deal that I'm doing, but I have realized there are people that will use their money as an excuse. But I also
come on now. Yes,
see,
they have the excuse of I don't have the money. If only I had the money, I would do it.
And so I eliminate the excuses and I say, if you're truly passionate about your purpose, I'm going to walk you. And you see, a lot of times we are taught purpose from one dimension, that your purpose is your passion, go get it. That's not true. You're so complex to have a single definition. And so when I walk with people, I want to give them a holistic approach. That's why I'm taking them through 10 days, 60 to 90 minutes every day. I'm going to walk with them systematically until they, one, become true and confident about their identity, and two, they discover their purpose. And by the end of the training, I want them to have a purpose manifesto. This is going to be something that guides them for the rest of their life. A lot of people are hoping and wishing that they'll get somewhere. That's not how to get there. Wishing is not a strategy. You gotta have a plan.
Somebody put that in the feed. Wishing is not a strategy. Come on.
It's not a strategy.
Wait. I got to ask you this because Rister, she just asked the question. She said, "What if you know your purpose, but you're struggling to get support?"
See, that tells me that you don't fully understand what your purpose is. You have an idea, an inclination, but you don't understand. You don't have to have people support. You can start doing what it is that you're passionate about, and then people will start getting drawn to you. I'll give you an example. So there are people who started businesses that didn't have money, like the lady that started Spanx. She went out there and she started with $5,000. That's all she had. She actually took a loan against it. And when she took that money, she had to work for as long as she did to get where she is. Now she's worth $1.2 billion, the whole industry. Why? It's because we look up to outside sources to fund our purpose. But when you walk in your purpose, people gravitate because you start solving problems. And anytime you're a solution to somebody's problem, you begin to get resources. I'm going to tell you this, I didn't have any resources.
Yes.
I didn't. I didn't. When I came, I didn't have any resources. But how did I get to this place where I'm stepping into my purpose? Is understanding. You see, purpose. We have to fully comprehend what purpose is. Purpose is not something that you do once and then you've discovered it and that's it. It's a progressive continuum. The way your purpose is expressed will be expressed differently next year than it is today. Yeah. Today you're doing the Voices of Change show, but tomorrow you might be in a syndicated platform and you're having a late night show that we are listening. But that didn't change. You're still doing it, but it's evolved to something else. So your purpose evolves as you grow. You know, it evolves as you grow. So you don't need money. Yeah, Sonia said, don't talk about Thank you, Sonia. But I was listening to her story and it inspired me because I was like, wow, she took what she had, a passion, and she went out there and she worked. And sometimes she would go to a city and go sell in that and stay in that store where her stuff was being sold and sell it herself until it grew. And sometimes you have to start where you are. And as you build with where you are, resources and relationship begin to gravitate towards you. And then you see, I'm going to tell you this. I want to say this to your audience, Dr. West. The empowerment within you is proportionate to your assignment. So whenever you are given an assignment, you have whatever it takes to execute it. It might be in raw form, but it's already in you. Greatness is already embedded in you. So we got to get outside of this mindset that I need support to actualize my dream.
He's so hot. He's sparking the microphone. Do you guys see this? His message is so raw. It's so powerful that it's sparking the microphone. He literally got frozen. I'm going to give him a chance to come back on and get back. Here he is back. You're sparking the microphone. You're sparking the video. It froze up on you. That's how powerful this message is. I love this. Keep going.
So yes, so we don't have to wait for outside factors to fund our dreams, to fund our passion. We need to walk in our dream. Zig Ziglar used to say, the great Zig Ziglar motivation speaker used to say that if you help other people get what they want, you'll evidently get what you want. And that's the thing. I believe it's the law of reciprocity. So if you don't have the resources, start where you are, start helping others. And that's what I'm doing. I'm saying I'm going to help people until the time when I feel like, you know what, I've helped over hundreds of people in over 25 countries so far. I stopped counting individually, but I know that I've worked with over 25 countries. And so that's the thing. You have to put your gift out there. Your gift will make room. So you cannot wait for resources. You have to go after your passion and your purpose.
Yeah, it's not about the resources. It's about your resourcefulness. You've got to go after it. You've got to go after it. Hopefully you caught that, Risker. If you have a question for Dr. Kinuthia, by all means, drop it in the feed. I'll be glad to put it up there. Let me ask you this. So you said you started to recover. You stopped taking the medicine. You got up and start walking again. It was a slow process. You didn't just jump back up and walk again. You eventually came to the U.S. Your parents had to sell their plot of land to buy your air ticket. You got $250 in your pocket. When did things start changing for you? When did you start feeling like, okay, I can get more than crackers and coffee? Like, what did that change for you, right?
Yeah. Well, when I got the job at the cafeteria, they started changing. I bet
it did. I bet you ate it for the last 2 months. Like, I tell you what, I got some catching up to do. Right?
But I didn't know, first of all, that I would love some chocolate milk the way I did. I was like, that became my that became my staple, man. So anyway, but yeah, what happened is I remember in that room when I was in the basement of this professor's room, I began to say, and that's where the birthing place of my book, From Dreaming to Becoming, was in 2003. I said, God, if you help me, there are a lot of people who are going through some stuff. And, sometimes we tell people, pick yourself up by the bootstraps. You got to ask yourself, I mean, first of all, everybody doesn't have foots.
Right.
So while you're telling them to pick them up, and I know it's a figure of speech, but you have to understand everybody is now privileged to have a starting point. So I didn't even have a starting place. I mean, I'm like, where do I start? Here I am at point A. I need to get to point B. How do I get there? What do I need to do? Who are the people I need in my life? Who do I need to have what steps do I need to take? What principles do I need to learn? And so I want to say that one of the things that started happening is I started shifting my mind. And the change, I want to tell your audience that your life conforms to the pattern of your thoughts.
Come on, Doc.
Your thought pattern is the blueprint of your life.
Come on.
So if you don't change your thought pattern, don't expect the outcome of your life to change until your outlook changes. So perspective.
No, wait. Stop. Somebody's got to put in the feed. You can't change the outcome until you change your outlook. Somebody's got to put that in the feed. You cannot change your outcome until you change your outlook. Come on with it, Doc.
Right, because as a man thinketh, so is he. So I cannot manifest until first my level of consciousness. Here's the thing. Life will give you whatever you negotiate for it. But you just have to understand first, what is it that you want and what price you're willing to pay to go after.
Come on.
But before you first know what you want, I mean, where are we going? And that happens because first you have to change the mindset, your way of thinking. So here's what I've noticed. A lot of people are trying to change behavior, but they are not changing their thought patterns. So I want to tell you, the distance between where you are to where you want to be will be determined by how fast you're willing to change your paradigm.
Yes.
So if my situation didn't change because my circumstances changed, my situation changed because my mentality changed. I began to understand there's something more. There's something more to life. I began to understand I need to hold myself at a higher level than what I'm manifesting. So here's the thing. People sometimes, sometimes Dr. Rivers say this too, people sometimes are in this predicament where they are thinking that if only somebody comes to my rescue, if only a rich uncle, if only some investor, if only somebody that has some ideas that can come to my life and help me and give me the steps. And let me tell you something. I want to tell your audience in the Voices of Change show, you are your own rescue.
Come on. You are your own rescue.
You are your own rescue.
Somebody's got to put that in the feed. You are your own rescue. There's so many people sitting there right now waiting for a helping hand. Guess what? Look at the end of your risk. Sometimes the only helping hand you're going to get is right at the end of your own risk. Come on, Doc.
Exactly. And so I began to understand I was waiting for something outside of me to bring change in my life. But I discovered it's not what's outside, it's what's within me. So until I change what is inside, what I'm manifesting cannot change. So I have to start changing my patterns of thought. I had to start changing my thought patterns. I had to start thinking. I tell people, you have to think for where you're going, not where you are.
Come on.
The challenge is we are caught up by our circumstances to the point where we allow our circumstances to define our thought patterns. And so whenever there's lack, you find, so this is what I used to do. Growing up in poverty, my parents would say, there's no money. What do you expect me to do? Right? Yeah. And so I would ask for clothes. The only time we would get clothes was actually during Christmas. And, that's when we would get new clothes. Other than that, well, tough it out. Because you're trying to figure, should we eat or buy you clothes? So here's what happens. I had to get to this point where I had to understand that help is not going to come from outside. Help has to start with me. And I have to change how I'm thinking. I have to change what I'm expecting. And then I have to begin to manifest it. And people think, they call it, in the world, they say it's the law of attraction. No, I want to tell you, it's a creative capacity we have.
Mhm.
Because it says, whosoever, it says, whosoever shall say to this mountain, be thou cast into the sea, but shall not doubt, but believe what he says, he shall have whatsoever he says. So what is the criteria? The criteria is set in my belief system. So
Mhm.
if I don't set the criteria of what I want to manifest, it doesn't matter. And faith works positively or negatively. It will work for you or against you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Doc, we don't listen. Sometimes I ask guests to come back to my show.
Okay.
I've got to demand you come back. I've got to like, this is ridiculous. Like, number one, I'm
Yeah.
going to be watching this 2 or 3 times over the night. Every time I have a show, I lay in bed at night and I'm watching the show and I'm taking notes. I speak it into my phone on my notes or I type it in. I've got to go back to this show. Listen, I
Yes.
don't want people to miss this. I don't want people to miss this. His purpose, helping people manifest their purpose. His
Mm-hmm.
purpose, helping people figure out what they've been called to do. That's his
Yeah.
purpose. I've got to put this back up. He's having this
Yes.
program, 10 Days to Purpose. It's the 10 Days to Purpose Challenge. I've got to put
Mm-hmm.
this up here. Listen, it's $1 a day. You know what he did? He took
Yep.
away the excuse. You can't say I don't have the money. That's not true. It's $1 a day. Look, if he can come to this country with only $250 in his pocket and save it while he eats crackers and drinks coffee, you can fork over the $10 to figure out what your purpose. Here's the website again: www.10daystoPurpose.com.
Yes.
www.10daystoPurpose.com. Don't click off my show, write it down, and then after I'm done, go to www.10daystoPurpose.com. I really
Yeah.
believe this is going to be transformational and life
It
changing.
is.
I had to get that in there again before,
Yes,
because
sir.
pretty soon our
Thank you.
time's going to run out and I've got to go
Yes.
directly to another show. So I had to get that in there. Make sure
Yes,
you
sir.
take time to reach out to him. 10 Days to Your Purpose, July 28th through August 6th. It's about an hour to 90 minutes every day. He's going to walk you step by step. Listen, even if you feel like you know what the purpose is, don't you want to
Yeah.
know the process to walking somebody to their purpose? Look,
Yep.
Doc, I'm going to be on with you. I'm telling you that already. I'm going to
Thank
fork
you.
over my $10 ASAP. So I just want
Yes.
to put that up there one more time. I mean, the
Thank
people
you, sir.
are going through on the feed. I mean, just
Yeah.
look at all of the comments that are being uh,
Yeah.
posted. Roland Manning said, "First will work for you, or it'll work against you." Yes, please, Dr. Knuthia. Yeah, should be back here. Yes, no, he's gone. He doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm not asking him. I've got to have him back. He got my attention. Look, she said, "Got my
Yeah.
attention. Listen to this. Signed up for the 10-day challenge that will change my life for and others." This is great, Gene, that you signed up for the challenge, but I told you not to click off my show. You missed part of what he was saying. You've got to go back and catch that now. But I'm glad you got signed up. Dr. Tracy Ward said, great man. Let's look at this. This is the kind of people we get on the Voices of Change.
Wow. That's
I'm willing to
amazing. Oh my
sponsor 3
goodness.
people for Dr. Knuthia's class. That's Tara
Wow.
Jane Wallace. She's one of my future guests on the show. But these are the
Oh
kind of
my
people
goodness. Wow.
that we attract. This is
Absolutely.
so powerful.
Yeah. Life. Yeah.
I'm excited.
That speaks a lot about the people that you're connected with, Dr. Wesh, because here's the thing: you're as influential as your circle of influence. Your network actually determines your net worth. And so
Yeah.
what I've realized is that the people that we surround ourselves with, we got to surround ourselves with egos, with people who are looking. And that's the thing. That's why I'm saying, okay, people might not know where they are, but if you can pick them from where they are and take them where they ought to be, that's what leadership is about. A lot of time, leadership is taking people from where they are to where they ought to be, but they don't know how to get there. And so we are in this together. And that's why I really appreciate you having me in your show at a time like this, because it positions and allows us to be able to impact more people. My goal, Dr. West, is I want to reach between now and December. I sat down and I realized a lot of people are going through depression. They're discouraged. I was looking at the search, and the numbers have spiked for depression, suicide. the search engine, on the search engine, and I was like, people are going through a lot of stuff. So guess what I decided? I'm gonna add value. And while people are, while others are feeling down, I think that one of the greatest tool in finding fulfillment and happiness is knowing what you were born on and brought to earth to do. And so that's what I want to do. Is I want to help people be encouraged. So I want to walk with them and help them. And that's what this is about. So you're not only making it possible for me to do that, but you're also partnering with me as we're making a difference in the lives of those people. Can you imagine if my sister did not give me that message, purpose by design, the impact that is had and the life that is transformed? Can you imagine how many other people are sitting out there? And that's why I never take it for granted. Every time I have a moment, I want to give it my all, because I know that one moment, somebody can listen to this message, and I want to, everyone that's listening to the Voice of Change tonight, I want you to know you're not here by accident. You're here by divine appointment. God's a God of objectivity, of purpose, of design, and he put you here for a purpose. And so you have to understand that there's something greater than what you're going through. The desire of your future has to be greater than the pain of your present. I'm gonna remind you again, don't allow the pain of your present to stop you from the desire of your future. If you've stopped dreaming, you gotta go back and dream again. You gotta go back to the drawing board. You gotta draw your dreams again. If you're feeling discouraged and you're feeling hopeless, I tell you what, you might be discouraged right now, but you have to find life-giving stuff. And what is life-giving stuff? Is knowing, what am I here for? Let me go back. Let me go back and discover what it is that I'm here for. So I want to encourage you, it's not over until you agree that it's over. So as long as you're alive, there is proof that there's something existing for you to do, and you still have a purpose. So we want to activate those dreams. We want to encourage them. We want to start up the dreams. Right now, everybody's thinking about COVID and all that's going on. People are dying. But guess what, Dr. West? There are people dying, people losing their lives, but there are also billionaires being made. There are millionaires being made.
Indeed.
We got to ask ourselves, where is the opportunity? And the opportunity is tied to our assignment, because the assignment, again, like I said, your empowerment is proportionate to your assignment. So we got to look and say, hey, what's my assignment in this season? How can I add value? Let's go back there. Let's forget ourselves. One of the things that I've realized, Dr. West, is you got to get to the point where you find where the need is. A lot of people are trying to find the money. I tell people, go find the need, go solve the need, go tell people go solve problems for people. Money will come. Money is a tool. People will reward you for solving their problems. So right now, I want to stop every person on the Voice of Change. I want you to begin to dream again. You're not old until regret takes the place of your dreams. I want you to start dreaming again. I want you to start painting the picture of your future. Do you know what, Dr. West? And I know we are out of time here, but I just want to say this. When Jesus was going through stuff, the scriptures say one thing, that Jesus, for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame. What gave him motivation to go through the cross was what was ahead of him. And so we got to put a dream in front of us that's greater than the pain of our present.
Come on. You know what? Let me find a mic or something. Let me find something to drop. I got to drop something. Listen, hey, you guys, I told you at the beginning of the show, and I delivered. Dr. Phinehas Kinuthia, we truly appreciate you being a guest on the Voices of Change show. It's no question we have to have you back. I'm going to put up his website one more time. In about 1 minute will be your opportunity to click off my show and go to his website. So I wanted to put it up there one more time to give you a chance to write that website down. Thank you so much. I mean, I didn't even have to tell you to give final thoughts. You gave final thoughts and next thoughts and creative thoughts. And the one thing I'm thinking is that you got to come back and share some more of your thoughts. So we're going to have you back on the show. It's not
it's not a great honor.
You have to be on this show. Thank you so much for the valuable information that you shared.
Amazing.
And I look forward. I'm going to tell you right now, I look forward to being a part of your 10-day challenge. Hopefully, there's plenty of people on here that's going to be willing to share that with me. We want to thank you for being obedient to your gift Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having the faith to come here with $250 in your pocket. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
for continuing the dream and not allowing your circumstances to stop you from moving in the direction that you were supposed to go. I'm Dr.
Thank you.
Ruben West, and this is the Voices of Change show, where we bring voices of change from around the world that not only try and change their lives, but are dedicated and committed to changing the lives of others. Again, it's been Dr. Ruben West, my guest, Dr. Phinehas Kinuthia. We'll see you next time on the Voices of Change.